Good afternoon. This is the last one. This is Friday, and here we are at Weekday Word, which is part of Lovechurch online. And my name's Jeff, and I've been with the church now for over 5 years. And I've taken a verse at the beginning of the week, and we're going to finally chew it up and digest it completely at the end of the week. So here's the verse. Isaiah 40, verse 31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." That's Isaiah 40, verse 31. And the process is we need to get from flapping to gliding to soaring. So today, we're going to soar. Now, one thing I really didn't mention is that the Lord spoke to me when I prepared all this that I missed the pre-stage. And I'm thinking, what is he on? And I listened to a bit of Focus that was online, and Elevation Worship was playing, and they had a great song called "Wait on You." And that song spoke very clear to me that I missed the pre-stage. And the pre-stage was just that. Before we can get into flapping and gliding and soaring, we just have to wait, okay? And the songwriter in that says a lot of times in that waiting, we can be singing our hallelujahs and we can be doing our worshiping. And that's such a key part, because a lot of times, at least I do, I have a tendency to be rather impatient. Waiting on the Lord is not easy, okay? So, that's one reason why I may not be entering soaring mode, is maybe, just maybe, I'm too impatient. Possibly too, is that I enjoy flapping about because I'm in good company, because there's lots of other people flapping about too. So maybe that's another reason. Maybe it's my preference to be in that crowd of flappers. Thirdly, the reason I may not be reaching that stage of soaring would be the same reason why Peter didn't walk on the water for very long, is that we easily, and I easily, get distracted. Okay, all kinds of distractions. Let's think about the distractions that we have right now. Okay, we've got technology like we've never had it before. I've seen people walking through parks and through cities talking on their watches. They're not even using their phone anymore, okay? So that's something that technology gone mad with smartwatches. We've now seen general public can now go into space, if you can afford it, okay? We've seen that happen. We've seen things with global warming that we've never seen before. We've seen disasters like we've never seen before. Again, they would blame some of this on the advance, how fast man has advanced in a short period of time. Terrorism has advanced. It's reached new levels. We look at Brexit, we look closer to home, and we still have massive amount of issues. We still have a refugee crisis going on across the English Channel. We've got food distribution problems. We've got border problems. There's still issues going on that really do create a lot of distractions. Yet in all this, my Bible tells me I'm to be anxious about nothing. There's a study done quite recently, and the study was done by a psychologist by the name of Robert Leahy. And he took with just over 200,000 first-year college students. 200,000, that's a big survey. And that survey taught Leahy and his team of psychologists that these young people are experiencing the same anxiety levels today as psychiatric patients who were receiving in the 1950s. That is a shocker. So psychiatric patients of the 1950s are the same anxiety levels in the average first-year college student. Different world. So, where am I going with all this? What's going on with the distractions and things around? Why sometimes, if all this is going on in society if we've seen over the months that we can't even do church like the way we really want to do church, back in singing our lungs out in front of everybody, and we've missed out on focus. It's been online. I've mentioned that before. We've missed out on Big Church Day Out for those who've been there. What a great encounter. So all this stuff, even home fires, all this stuff seems to be closed down, and we're missing out on things. Okay? So how can we possibly still soar when all this goes on? And you have to ask, maybe, just maybe, that is the time we're really supposed to soar, is when the rest of the world is being distracted and are anxious. Maybe that's when the Christians are supposed to come out and give a different perspective. And a quote from John Ortenberg's book, the one that he says, the book, "If you want to walk on water, you've got to get out of the boat." And his quote is, "The way we live is a consequence of the size of our God." So if we live in a world where we're constantly being distracted and anxious about COVID-19 and about all kinds of other issues that I just mentioned, how big is your God? Okay? And if your God's big enough, then there's still room to soar. This is what I want us to do today. I want us to reach that level. I want us to soar. I'm going to finish with a very short personal experience, is that during this 2 years, my final written warning at the school, I've had 2 teachers that I work with that have both been in contact with me. Neither one of them are Christians. And one of them had a little girl at home that was having terrible nightmares, and was seeing a vision, a ghost in her bedroom, a real ghost that she could see, a real figure. And she was at her wit's end. This has been going on for quite a while. And she called upon me and said, "Can you do anything?" Well, it was during lockdown. I couldn't go around to the house. I would have loved to. But I got the prayer team involved, and God spoke to me directly on the time that I was supposed to contact her and let her know that there was going to be a breakthrough. And to make a long story short, that little girl no longer sees those ghosts. Okay, it was an answer to prayer. Miraculous, yes. A second one is another teacher friend came to me and she said, "My daughter during lockdown has now got Tourette's, and she'd never had Tourette's before, and anxiety and everything. It's just she can't go to school now. She's just in a complete mess." And I said, "Let me come around to the house." And she let me come around again, not a Christian family. And she was now wheelchair bound. It had such a devastating impact on her. She was bound to a wheelchair. And during the time that I was there, again with help from that prayer team backing me up, that girl got out of that wheelchair and she began to dance. She began to run around the room, and she's never been back in that wheelchair since. Now, the work's not finished. That poor young girl still has Tourette's, and she's still been withdrawn from normal education, and they're trying to figure out other moves. But medical experts can't figure this out. So there's still prayer needed for that young girl by the name of Maddie. So keep her in your prayers. That I believe that God will completely heal that young girl from Tourette's. So that's what's happened. That's 2 situations where I've been able to soar in a time when I could have just let myself down, said, "God, I'm getting beat up here. I don't want to teach anymore. Maybe I'll just go do something else because of this cloud over my head." And yet, through all that, He still gave me the opportunity to soar. Let's close with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I encourage you now to soar like eagles, to not grow weary, to run and run and run the good race. And when you're walking, don't faint. Keep the head up. Keep your eyes focused on Christ.